Hello, and welcome back to Sea Wheels. If you're checking out this channel for the first time, my name is Tim. Today we're going to talk about what happens when you miss your cruise boat. The first thing we're going to talk about is missing your boat on embarkment day. Do not do this. It's a really bad way to start your vacation, and there's a fairly good chance if this happens, the cruise line's just going to tell you to go home, and that's on your expense. Let's talk about what we can do to not miss the boat. If you have to fly to the port for embarkment day, I recommend flying in at least one day early, especially if it's in the winter. That way, if there's any storm or bad weather and your flight gets delayed, you don't end up missing the boat. The next thing is on the actual embarkment day itself. Be there early. If final boarding is at 3 p.m., don't aim to be at the cruise terminal for 2:30. That way, if there's any traffic or weather or delays, you don't end up missing the boat, because I guarantee you, they will not wait for you. There's a few things you can do to make embarkment day as easy as possible. The first thing is to triple check what port you're leaving from, especially if you're leaving from Florida, where there's 3 or 4 different ports like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Port Canaveral. Make sure you know which one you're going to, and double check with your transportation that you are going to the right port. As well as triple check your passports and your boarding documents, because if you get to the cruise terminal and you don't have proper passports to get on the boat, they're going to leave you because there's nothing they can do about that. That's a customs issue. They're not going to let you board. We talked about a few things you can do to help make your embarkment day easier. Now here's some things you can do to protect your cruise. First off, some cruise lines offer the opportunity to book airfare through them. This means if there's a flight delay or cancellation, some sort of thing like that, the cruise line will take care of you and either put you on the boat at the next port of call or gives you more coverage for a full refund. And they usually offer transportation to and from the boat. With this, you can also independently book the transportation with the cruise line. If you don't want to have to book the flight through them, they can still provide transportation to the boat. You can also look into options for shuttles. As well as you can buy travelers insurance. This will cover you for most events. Just make sure you read the terms and conditions, because different travel insurances offer different type of coverage. Now, what happens if the crazy event does happen and you miss your embarkment? Well, the first thing is don't panic. Panicking is probably going to make it worse. Check the cruise terminal. There's probably a few cruise line employees around. Talk to one of them. They should be able to direct you in the right direction. If you're unable to find one of them, most cruise lines have an emergency number that you can call. Give them a call. They should be able to help you out. If you book with a travel agent, you also have that option. If there's nobody at the cruise terminal to help you out, you can only give them a call. If that's the case, call them right away. The sooner you get on top of this, the better off you'll be. Now that either you or your travel agent have gotten a hold of the cruise line, one of two things are going to happen. The first option isn't great, and you just go home. That's going to be on your expense. Unfortunately, that could happen due to customs or cruise line policy. You just might miss your cruise, and you're not going to get any money back unless you're really lucky, which you're probably not going to get money back. The other option is downboarding, and that is where the next port of call where it's available, they'll let you get on the cruise boat. All your flights and hotels to get there are going to be on you unless you get some sort of travel insurance that's going to cover that. If you do have travel insurance, that's great, because this can be a really expensive endeavor. Once you get to the cruise terminal at that port of call, you'll speak with a specific agent that's been waiting for you, and they'll let you board the boat, and you can continue your cruise as normal. Since we talked about missing the boat on embarkment day, I want to talk about missing the boat at a port of call. It can be just as bad. The same kind of expenses where you get to fly to the next port of call or back to the port that the boat is from. This is probably going to be on you. Once again, if you have the right type of travel insurance, you might be covered on that. But it's most likely coming out of pocket. There's a few things you can do to help prevent that. If you book your excursions or your adventures through the cruise line, they usually have a guarantee to get you back to the boat, or they cover the expense to get you to the port of call or to back home. You could also book through some companies that have the same type of guarantee. If you're new to cruising, I highly recommend that. Or if you want something a little bit more in depth, I recommend that as well. Another thing to remember is use ship time. Don't look at local clocks. Don't ask a local for the time. The ship will tell you what time it is on board. Use that time. Set your watches to that. Set your phones to that. That way you don't miss your return to boat. If the boat says it's leaving at 3:30, they mean it. It is leaving at 3:30. There's tons of videos all over YouTube of people running back to the boat as it is leaving. You don't want to be one of those people. Another important thing to remember is at ports of call, there could be multiple cruise ports on that island or near that destination. So it's good to know what port your cruise boat is at, so you don't run into a situation of going downtown or going across the island and then having a different cab driver return you to find out you've come back to the wrong boat. That's not going to be a good day, so make sure you're aware of that. As well as with embarkment day or with ports of call, make sure you return to the boat plenty of time early. That way, if there's a flat tire or traffic, you don't miss the boat. What do you do if you miss returning to the boat at a port of call? Well, unlike embarkment day, they're actually going to have somebody waiting there looking for you specifically. With all cruises, they're very diligent on checking in and out on passengers. So when you enter the boat, they're going to scan you in, and when you leave the boat, they're going to scan you out. So they're going to be aware that you're missing. So they're going to have somebody waiting at the pier for you. Find that person. If you happen to be in a situation where you can't make it back to the port of call the cruise line, specifically an emergency number, and that way they can get you in touch with the boat and find out what's going on with either getting a flight back to the original port or going to the next port of call. So, and from there, you follow the same steps as if you missed embarkment day. I hope these tips will help you out on your next cruise vacation. And remember, if you want to travel better, it's as easy as not missing your boat and being like these people who are running back frantically. Check out the video.